Anne-Marie, thank you. Let's talk real estate. We are now officially into summer, so let's take a temperature check on where the housing market sits where you live. Real estate expert Erica Reddy is here to give us a rundown. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy summer.
To you as well. How is July?
I know,
tomorrow?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
Can you believe it? And you and I love to talk real estate, obviously. So let's take a look at Canada as a whole. What are you seeing?
So Canada's interesting as a whole because you're actually seeing different things happen city to city, province to province. Vancouver and Toronto are actually quite similar. You're seeing way more of a buyer's market. We've got more supply than we have demand. In Calgary, you're actually seeing more of a shift to a more balanced market. And in Montreal, it's actually more of a seller's market.
Interesting. Okay, so let's dial in and let's zoom into some of these major cities. Let's start with Toronto.
Absolutely. So Toronto, definitely a buyer's market. In the bulk of the city, the challenge that we're faced with is the condo market is in a really tough spot.
Yes.
And so you put the condo market and the housing market together here in Toronto, and you've just got a really tough mix. I mean, it's not to say that there aren't still pockets of the Toronto market that are quite strong. That first-time homebuyer entry price point around, $1 million to $1.5 million is still quite a, I don't want to say competitive, but almost still has some competition in it. But everything kind of in between, definitely more of a buyer's market.
Okay, Vancouver.
Vancouver is quite similar to Toronto, similar in the sense that it also has a pretty large condo market. So you've got that same issue with more supply than you have demand. And therefore very similar, truthfully, landscape-wise to Toronto.
Calgary.
Calgary, you're seeing there's kind of speculation that we could actually see it shift more to a seller, so it's in a more balanced point right now, but between jobs and desire to live and cost of living, Calgary's definitely trending up there. So that's a market to watch.
Oh, interesting. Okay, what about Montreal?
Montreal, there's just not enough supply. So it's the opposite of Toronto and Vancouver in the sense that there's good supply and there's definitely buyer demand there. So it's more of a seller's market. So that one's a competitive one at the moment.
Okay, so you mentioned bidding wars a little bit. So with that sort of $1 million price point, you're seeing a little bit of action, a little bit more action, and more people coming to the table. What about if we spread that out across the country? Are we seeing bidding wars right now, or is it pretty quiet?
I would say bidding wars are definitely, they're still being, applied and tested, but I'd say some of them are succeeding, some of them are not. But I'd say for the most part, you're seeing most sellers just go with a list price and a marketing period and not necessarily the bidding war.
Condos, you mentioned that as well. Obviously, it's a big talker here in Toronto about what that looks like. It's pretty tough for somebody looking to sell their condo, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, we've just got, months of inventory is a really important benchmark, and we've got a really large number of months of inventory, meaning that if, nothing listed tomorrow, how long would it take to sell through the present inventory?
Yeah.
And in some areas, that's 7 months, 8 months, 9 months.
Whoa.
It's a lot. And so the challenge becomes we just have way more supply than we have the demand.
Yeah.
And that's what's driving this really tricky environment within the condo market specifically.
Okay, so let's do advice time. This is Advice Corner with Erica Reddy. Okay, so if you're looking to sell your home, what advice do you have for a seller?
So selling, I mean, I think kind of taking what we've talked about, you've got to set yourself apart because it's a tough landscape and there's a lot of competition. So you've got to first and foremost make sure that you've got your price nailed and your presentation right behind.
And when you say presentation, you're talking about staging?
I'm talking about everything.
Everything.
Sorry, not just staging. We're talking staging, we're talking photos, we're talking virtual tours, we're talking how you present, ads. I mean, you've got to get creative and you've got to really make sure that you have thought of everything. Yes.
Okay, when you say realistic pricing.
Yes.
Because a lot of people in their heads, they're still, back in 2023 or whatever year you want to. Yeah. So it's that conversation between the agent and the person selling their place. You've got to be realistic.
You do, and I think the challenge is, it can be. You can want to hear what you want to hear. And it's really, really important that you understand what it's truly worth and you dive into the stats so specific to your area to know that information.
Okay, quickly, let's do buying. If you're buying a place, what do you need to know?
So absolutely get pre-approved. That's a no-brainer. I don't want to say that, but that really is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. You need to know what you can afford. Take your time. because you've got time. You've got, you know, the ability to really look at your options. But at the same time, I would say it can be hard sometimes to be decisive when you feel really indecisive.
Oh,
and
fair enough.
So it is definitely finding, you know, take your time, but within reason, because sometimes you can kind of get in this state of almost like analysis paralysis and you just get frozen.
Yes,
so
exactly.
avoid that for sure.
Absolutely. Real estate expert Erica Reddy, thanks for coming in.
Always, thank you.
Time.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.